Welcome to the Med Spa Method. I'm your host, Leslie Schweitzer. I'm a doctorate-prepared nurse anesthetist. I started my own medical spa in 2022 called Lush Aesthetic Bar. Over the past 4 years, the spa has been through a couple of transitions, and it's now called Lush Aesthetics and Wellness. These episodes are your guide to med spa treatments and wellness. Many of the episodes are just me talking about something I'm passionate about, but along the way, I will feature some guests that will bring value to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome back to the Med Spa Method. I'm Leslie Schweitzer, and today we're talking about one of my favorite treatments that somehow still flies under the radar, and that's IPL. This is one of those treatments where patients come in wanting one thing. Maybe they hate some brown spots that they have, or there's some redness that's hard to cover up with makeup. And they leave realizing that their entire skin, the entire treated area, whether that's face, neck, décolleté, or even spot treatments on the hands, it all looks healthier, just all around healthier, brighter, plumper. And yes, we've lifted those dark spots and we've treated that redness. So today I'm going to explain what IPL is, what it stands for, what it treats, who it's good for, who should avoid it, and what happens during your appointment. So let's start here. What does IPL stand for? IPL stands for intense pulsed light. A lot of people call it a laser, but technically isn't. Even within our spa, we'll call it a laser because the handpiece attaches to one of our lasers, kind of laser towers, and so we'll even talk about it that way, but it's technically not a laser. A laser uses only one specific wavelength of light, but IPL uses multiple wavelengths, almost like it's like a very, very bright camera flash that allows us to target multiple concerns during one treatment. I tell patients to imagine something like a flashlight versus a laser pointer. The laser pointer can focus on one tiny little thing at a time, but the IPL, as an adjustable flashlight, you can make it brighter, wider, and see, in the dark, you can see a much brighter area, or you can dial it in tighter and have a very bright beam that's very focused. So just like that, we can change the filters on the IPL handpiece itself to target different things. And sometimes we use more than one of those filters in one treatment so that we can target more than one thing. IPL can target so many different things, like I was talking about, like changing up filters. So let's talk through a few of these. Sunspots from sun damage. We're getting out in the sun without good SPF, and it's activating the melanin in our skin. Age spots, freckles, broken capillaries, rosacea, diffuse facial redness, tiny little cherry angiomas, overall skin tone that's dull and not bright. IPL doesn't just remove the pigment, it improves the quality of the entire skin overall because we're removing, in one treatment, accumulated sun damage that has happened over the years. The light in the I almost said laser. The light in the handpiece is seeking out color. So in some of the filters that we're applying, it's seeking out the brown pigment, and that brown pigment is absorbing that light. It's lifting it up closer to the surface. It gets darker before it comes off, and then it kind of flakes off. The red blood vessels absorb the light, and it kind of shocks them and shrinks them. The light is converted into heat, and your body recognizes that heat as damage, either in those pigment cells or those tiny red blood cells, and it will gradually clear them away because they're damaged, and our body wants to do that anyways. It wants to clean up damaged areas, which is often why we are doing a lot of these treatments that stimulate a natural response, is we're actually trying to stimulate or tell your body, hey, here's the damage and here's where you need to fix it. Something that we don't talk about often enough is the lymphatic system. Our lymphatic system is what carries away what we've treated. I feel like we talk about this the most with body contouring and tattoo removal, at least in my medical spa, but the lymphatic system is carrying away that junk. It's carrying away the bad pigment, the dead blood cells, the dead in the skin. That's all being pulled and moved around by your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system is not super fast. So that's why when you leave your appointment, your results aren't finished yet. You go on to have more and more results over the next couple of weeks. And there's actually something that we have in our medical spa, and it's very popular in other medical spas as well. Ours is called a boa max, which is like a boa constrictor snake. It's a suit that you climb into, and we zip you in like a sleeping bag, and it massages your lymphatic system to help you stimulate that lymphatic system and move things around. There are therapists that do lymphatic massage. If you go to have a massage, you can ask them, can you do a massage that helps with lymphatic drainage? Those are all wonderful things that are great for your body, not just to help your aesthetics treatment, but to also help with weight loss, with feeling great overall, help you get over an illness, etc. So when you come in for your appointment, we're going to have a discussion, a consultation. We're going to talk you through the whole process, what's to expect and what your healing is going to be like. So what to expect during the procedure and what you're going to expect when you go home. We're going to take before pictures. We're going to clean off the skin, and we're going to make you wear protective eye shields. Even though those protective eye shields are on, sometimes it feels like they're not on because the light is so bright and it reflects off of your bones. So some good protective eye shields are very important. And then we use a cold gel, which is just a regular clear ultrasound gel, but we keep it in the fridge because the cool is helpful to the skin and helpful to the comfort of the treatment. The treatment feels like, for just a very short amount of time, like a snap with heat to it. I liken it to when you're cooking on the stove and you get like a spot of hot grease. It snaps you for just a second. It's hot for just a second, and then it's gone. But we're going to do that all over the treatment area, and that takes about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how big the treatment area is. We use something called a Zimmer chiller, which is incredible to help with the pain of the procedure. It cools the skin so much that sometimes you can hardly feel those little snaps. Immediately after your treatment, you're going to notice that you've got a little bit of redness and pink to the skin. The pigment, like I mentioned before, looks a little bit darker at first. Those tiny vessels might look a little bit worse, but don't panic. As soon as you go home, it's going to start getting better and better. Your brown spots are going to get darker, and you have to tell yourself it's coming to the surface. It's going to look even better. Sometimes we will call these darkening areas, these brown pigment areas, we'll call those coffee grounds. Those coffee grounds spots are kind of sprinkled across the skin, and they take a week or two to kind of flake off and naturally shed. So in this time, it's very important that you do not pick at the skin. If you pick at the skin when you have these coffee grounds on your face, what will be revealed underneath is skin that is too pink. It was revealed too early. The brown spot was protective, and you pulled it off, and that can turn into a scar. So picking is really a bad idea. Another really bad idea whenever you're going in for an IPL is not telling the med spa about the sun exposure that you've had and not being honest about the sun exposure that you're gonna have in the coming days. We really need your skin to be at its calmest before these treatments. So that means no sun exposure, and we'll harp on that a little bit later. No sun exposure, no aggressive facials, no other aggressive treatments, no chemical peels, and certainly none of that right after either. IPL is absolutely the best for those of us who have a more fair skin tone. It's not good for people with darker skin tones with more melanin naturally in their skin. IPL is not the best treatment for them. It treats really well sun damage. So for Wisconsinites, oftentimes this is going to be awesome for our golfers and boaters, people who skip their sunscreen in the summer because they've got sun damage from years of not protecting the skin properly. And the IPL is wonderful for taking care of that sun damage. Like I sort of mentioned before about your sun exposure, it's really not a good idea to do an IPL on anyone who has been out in the sun, who's been recently tanning, who's been putting on sunless tanners, because that light is reaching out and being attracted to that pigment. So for that reason, for us in Wisconsin, we don't do IPL treatments from Mother's Day to Halloween because the sun can be quite intense in Wisconsin during that time, and it's short. So Wisconsinites tend to be out in the sun a lot during those months, and it's very hard to control the before and after the treatment phase when you want to be out in the sun and you can't. We also don't want to treat people who are very dark in their skin types because, like I said, the laser is attracted to those dark melanin in the cells. So we just don't treat darker skin types with an IPL. We have other treatments for the darker skin types. We have chosen not to treat pregnant patients with IPL, although there are places out there that will do it. It's one of those things where there's not research on one side or the other of it, so we've decided to err on the side of caution and just not do it. And then there's certain medicines like Accutane, certain antibiotics that make you more prone to sun damage or sunburn, and those would again make you more prone to burns from the IPL. So we just avoid it during that time as well. And then anybody who has had if you've got an active cold sore, we won't treat you during that time. We'll wait until that cold sore is healed. But if you've had a history of them, we're going to pre-treat with some Valtrex beforehand so that we know that when you do have your treatment, it's safe for you so that you don't have a breakout after. So because of all of these little factors, the consultation before the appointment is really very important. So as we've talked twice already about SPF, I've got to harp on it just a little bit more because you can spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on these treatments that reverse sun damage, but if you could just put sunscreen in your daily routine, it would prolong your results, it would improve your results, and it would make it so that you don't need as many of these treatments. So daily SPF, make it part of your routine. It's either your base layer or you like before your makeup, or you choose to wear it as your makeup with one of those wonderful tinted products that are out on the market. Reapplication is so important. I have found a couple of brands that make a setting spray that has SPF in it, and I just keep that in my car and I can just spray myself throughout the day and reapply my sunscreen that way. Some things that you don't think about as a sunscreen because it's not a chemical, but like a hat, simply applying a hat is a mechanical barrier between you and the sun. So protecting yourself with just wearing a hat when you're outside in the garden, at the baseball game, the hat is helpful. Even when you're driving, you still need to wear SPF. There's like a famous picture of this truck driver that never wore SPF, but he was on the road all the time. And the side of his face, the left side that faces the window, looks like 10, 15 years older than the side that doesn't. And that's just such a powerful picture because it shows how important sunscreen is. And we're even wearing sunscreen on cloudy days or when you're planning to be inside all the time. So my hope is that if IPL is something that you want to do, that now you understand a little bit more about the treatment and that it's so much more than just going in and getting rid of a few brown spots. It's about reversing years of sun damage, evening out your complexion, reducing your redness, helping your skin reflect the most healthiest version of itself. And if there's another treatment that you want to hear about, I would love to bring that content to you. So if you want to drop that in the comments or put that onto the Facebook page, I'd love to bring you that, whether it's lasers or injectables or wellness therapy. Send me a message. I love taking the mystery away from aesthetics. Thank you so much for joining me on the Med Spa Method. I can't wait to see you next time.